All right, we're gonna make a cheese sandwich for dinner today. And then we'll feed the family meal after we R&D a little bit. But this is the ingredients. We're starting off this first cooking video with a very simple set of ingredients and preparation. So we got some bread. So most of this comes from Costco. This, you can get something similar at Costco. Pepper's not from Costco, obvious. Well, I guess it is from Costco. We got the Honey Bear, 2 kinds of cheese, Havarti and provolone. We got some prosciutto over here, and we got boursin and this black truffle oil. Usually truffle oil tastes really bad. This one is the good brand, so we're gonna be using it. Tastes better than a lot of the more expensive ones, actually. And then we got Kerrygold butter over here, and we're gonna add some salt to it. So we're gonna season the salt to butter the outside of the bread. We're gonna mix this up with this, and then we're just gonna build our sandwich and cook it. All right, we're gonna season our butter. So I'm just gonna do a lot because we're gonna need more anyways when we make like 20 something sandwiches. Put the butter in there. So this butter was tempered, it's been sitting out, so it makes it a lot faster and easier to work with, and we can actually whip it to get some air into it so we don't use so much on each piece of bread. And we got this little block here left over. So might as well whip that in there too. Take our spatula, get what we can. All right, okay. So if you look at the color of the butter, it's a very yellow butter. When we whip it, it's gonna get lighter in color. Just break it down a little bit so you get some cracks in there. And we'll just disperse the salt evenly. Don't wanna dump it all in one place or it's gonna be harder to disperse evenly. I'm gonna use a towel, pin it down, start breaking it up first. Get it into liquid form. Okay, and then now we scrape the edges. All right, we're gonna taste it now, see if I put enough salt in there. I just put a little bit of salt because when we toast it on, then the salt will be on the outside of the bread and it'll cook down and season the bread on the outside a little bit. Yep, that's enough salt. You can come closer and look at this butter. Very smooth looking. See how it's a lot lighter in color now than it was before? Come look at this. This is how you scrape down a bowl. You make sure you overlap on each scrape. That way you can get it perfectly clean. Get the edge, scoop up. Now this is tall, so I'm gonna smack it down. And that's pretty clean. Just scrape the edge here, and that's it. So I'm gonna leave it overflow because we're gonna use some, then we can cover it up later. Next step, we're gonna truffle up the boursin. This is gonna take a decent amount of scraping since it's already tempered. Everything's gonna be stuck. Yeah, pretty clean. We'll just go with it. All right. So truffle oil is very strong. We'll start with just a little bit and then we'll add more if it doesn't taste truffly enough. Okay, we got the lid off, but now the lid is dented. I don't know how I'm gonna close that later. So we got 3 of those things, and this is gonna be one teaspoon to start, and we'll see where it is. I'm just gonna hold it in the air so it doesn't clatter around. All right, I whipped it a little. Let's close the truffle oil so I don't think it tastes more truffly than it is, because when you smell things, you assume you taste them. Nope, give me some more. So, personally, whenever I make food, I wanna make it taste strongly enough that if you didn't tell somebody what was in it, they could pick it out. But not so much that it's like, truffle. Okay, that should be good. Nope, that's truffly. I'm actually gonna put a little extra salt in here. Because later on, when we layer all these cheeses, I'm not putting salt on those cheeses. You just want a little bit in there. Same thing, a rubber spatula into the deli. This one will come out a lot cleaner than the butter. All right, come closer. All right, so we have the bread here. As you can see, it's a circle. So you don't want to match up the big piece with the little one. So we're gonna take whatever is closest and pair them off together. That's a little snacky taster sandwich. Yeah, these are close enough. And let's see, this one, we're just gonna taste with 2-person portions. That's enough for us. We're gonna put the rest back. Okay, so we have those. That one's gonna be kind of weird. Nah, it's okay. We'll make it anyways. So, this one's kind of weird too because it has a thicker border, but it's for us to eat. We're just gonna eat it. We could make it inverse, but I don't want to do that. So, start off. This one has no white surface, so I'm not even gonna butter it. So that's the bottom. And take some of this butter right here. Spread it on. I'm only worried with getting what will contact the griddle later. Okay, this here. Get a little more. So the reason we whipped it is we don't want to waste too much butter or put too much. We just want enough to coat it. And when it cooks, it'll cook evenly. So we'll put this one side by side, up, down. Okay, this one's a big slice, so we're gonna need some butter. Get all the edges, clean that up a little. Okay, we're gonna put this face down. This one's the bottom. So I'm just scraping it, getting all the edges, and then any extra I'm taking off. We'll go up there for that one. That's good. So whenever you're using butter like this, remember to take it out a little early so it's easy to work with. Okay, we got that. Now tap this down and then scoop it like that. Perfect. Put that in the fridge later. I'll just cover this for now. Crumb the table a little. Okay. Now we got provolone, barley, prosciutto, pepper, honey in this. So we're gonna go provolone first, and this will be the inside. And then I wanna put the honey on top of the ham. So cheese, ham, honey, spread over. No, we wanna reverse this. I wanna cap it with that one. And then we'll pepper in the middle too. All right, let's build some sandwiches. So, as you can see, these are circle. Our breads are not circle. So we're just gonna rip a little bit off. Just make everything fit. So, as you can see, these are circle. Our breads are not circle. So we're just gonna rip a little bit off. Just make everything fit. Here's a semicircle. And then we'll just drop the, oh, you can use it on this one. You can put more cheese if you want, but we're just gonna roll with one for now. Rip that off. Yeah, perfect semicircle. This will fit in there. And semicircle. Now we'll just fill in the cracks. One more slice. Since I started tearing this up, I'm just going to use up the rest. All right, so provolone is done. Now let's add, so since this is obviously kind of big, we're just gonna, a little extra ham never hurt anybody. Just gonna drape it in like that. And a tiny one. This one over here. We'll just go in a slight S-weave out and twist. Could make it flat, but looks a little more fancy with a bend in there. This one will start on this side. So the middle will have a little bit more ham than the outsides. So when you eat it, you're building up to the more meaty part. And because we like ham, we're gonna rip this one up and put another in there and just drop it in the center over there. All right, ham's finished. Let's put this away. All right, next step, we got the truffle part. We're gonna just drop it. Spread it out as close to the edge as you can. So how did we end up with this list of ingredients? First, we wanted to make a cheese sandwich. Then we wanted to put something in there that gave it a uniqueness. So it was a truffle. And then I wanted meat in there. So we put meat in there. All right, that should be good. And one of my favorite pairings is honey and cheese. So we're gonna crack it kind of big, probably middle. You gotta put a lot of pepper. I always see people cracking nothing into a whole pot and saying that's how much pepper you need. Salt and pepper everything, not with reason, but just because people say salt and pepper everything. If we pepper something, we want to taste it. That's why we're putting so much. All right, honey. We'll see if this is the right amount of honey to put. We're just gonna start with this, taste it, and then adjust it for the next time we make it. This is my first time making this, by the way. Okay, honey. Now we'll cap it off with Havarti. Oh crap, I forgot a sandwich. Okay, we get to recap. We're gonna go through the whole sandwich thing making one more time with that one slice. Let's see. All right, geez, I'll just open this up. Get a slicer. All right, got that. Let's spread some cream cheese on there. Not cream cheese, or sandwich truffle. Honey. There we go. Okay, now we're back to the cheese. I'll rip this one down the middle for this little one. And we'll just go that way. So far, we haven't cooked very much in this video. It's mainly assembling. First video, gotta dip our feet first. I'll get into some real cooking later. Now, if there's extra that comes out the side, that's not a problem. You'll see why later. All right, I'll put cheese in there, just use a slice. And we'll flip it over now. All right, we're ready to cook now. We're just gonna put away the rest of this and we'll get into cooking. Here we got a griddle. I'm gonna turn this on. I'm turning it up to 400 just to heat it up, then I'll turn it back down later. All right, so it's starting to get warm now. Let's probably go 300. Not quite sure if it's hot enough yet, but we'll use the guinea pig. No, there's no butter, so you won't hear a hard sizzle. Yep, it's hot enough. So I'm just kind of gonna do a dry toast. Okay, so this one not so important to press it down, but I'm trying to get all of the surface area to contact. So just put it down first, let the butter melt. We'll put the other 3 here. Actually, this one's a long one, so we'll push this down. Try to spread them out so the heat is even. And it's starting to melt. Okay, now you can press it down to try and get all the bread on the bottom to contact the griddle. It's not quite hot enough yet, but we're just gonna go low and slow. Because I don't want to burn this and remake this whole video. Because if I do that, I have to eat 4 more of these. I'm so sad about that. We're gonna turn it up. This is too slow. So you see the cheese is coming out over here, it's starting to get crisp. This is the first time I'm using this. Oh, look, I got a little, oh no, it's butter. I have a paper. Okay, we're gonna turn it down actually. I'm touching it like this, I can feel the bubbling of the bread underneath. So it is moving, it's just not making any sounds. Let's take a look. It's browning a little bit, but we're gonna flip it around so it browns more evenly. No, not brown yet, we'll flip it over. And by default, this one won't be brown yet. So every once in a while, if you're cooking service, you don't have time to do all this stuff, but we got time. So we're gonna press it down. Because you'll notice these end pieces, they buckle outwards because the bread is starting to dry out a little bit. Not now, but when it was in the bag earlier. So you have to help it stay flat. This one, we'll flip that guy over. Okay, and he needs a little help being pressed. Since he's a round one. Oh, you see over here it's starting to come up. All right, we're gonna flip this one. We'll flip it again later, but we need the heat to get to the center of the sandwich, so we're gonna do a couple flips. And also, if we do that, we get to look at it, so we don't burn one side. So you see this one's a little bit browner. This edge color is what we're looking for in the whole bread. We'll push this one down, flip this over, and realign it. That's hot. We're gonna turn it up. Just pressing gently, making sure we get an even browning. Cooking is relaxing. Nice and easy. You can poke at things. All right, so you see the griddle, some smoke is starting to come up. That means it's hot. So I wanted to turn it up, but I'm not going to turn it up because that's an indicator that we're at a decent amount of heat already. Let's flip this one over. Yep, nice and toasty. Let's take a look at these guys. Nope, not brown enough yet, but we're just going to leave it. Creep towards the center with the heat. That one's not brown at all. So we're not searing because there's not enough. I'm going to turn it down actually. We're not searing because there's no oil in the pan. This is more of a toast. So you coated your product with fat and then you're toasting it, and that's how you get the more brown edges. It's not like you're searing a steak or something. So we'll just keep flipping these until we get them as brown as we want. Turn it back up. That side's looking decent. That's looking decent. That one could use a little bit more. We're gonna go 400 just to speed it up.
smells like cheese and truffle. So you see the cheese here, it's starting to melt a little bit, but not quite there yet. But that's not an issue. So some of the cheese is falling off and it's not connected, so I'm just gonna swipe over it and it'll get caught and it'll turn into crispy cheese. We'll go closer to the center, there's more heat. So you see it's starting to smoke again, turn it back down. Okay, that one, so I flip these first. You see how it's starting to toast? That means if we leave it any longer, it'll probably start to char. We don't want that, so that's as far as we'll take it on that side. This guy's done, so we're gonna take that off. You can hear it scratching across the surface, that's how you know it has some crispiness. Should make it taste, should look good, smell good, and sound good. Okay, okay, and we just got a little char. We'll just dust that off. Okay, we'll flip this over and back off. Now, this looks good already, but we're gonna do a bonus step because we like cheese. So we're not gonna get too fancy. We'll just do one slice per sandwich. So the little sandwich will have a big cheese crown and the big one will have a little one. But as it sears, it's gonna start to separate. The fat is gonna melt out and the remaining stuff will curdle. Okay, so we just want to let it melt to the point that it can turn it down actually. We're gonna go down to 250. Now, we take the ugly side of the sandwich because it won't be visible and we'll place it down on top of it. That one there. And this one over here. And this one will have a giant piece of cheese. Okay, so you can see it bubbling. That's the moisture coming out. Once it gets crisp, we're gonna turn it slightly down actually, 225. Take the spat now and just separate these two halves. Nope, that's a lie. We want to go up. Back up to 300 degrees. So you can see it's starting to brown here on the edge. Just let it sit. There's nothing to do at this point.
So, turning up the heat will get the moisture out faster. Gotta get that crispy edge.
No sandwiches will keep your clean, but doesn't matter. We like cheese more than like clean fingers. So, you can see this one right over here. The edge is starting to crisp up. This one, not really. Up here. So the center is starting to crisp up because that's where the heating element is. I'll just separate this cheese again. Okay, we're going to turn it down. 200. We want it to release the moisture. Most of the moisture is gone. If we leave it really high, we're going to end up burning it. And since we can't really move it around because the soft side is still soft and the crispy side is crisp, we turn it down to the point that it won't toast and burn. Okay, so this one actually, we'll see if we can push everything up against it just to make it more compact, and we'll rotate it. Same thing here. You see how it's still white on the edges? We want to make it cook evenly. So how do we do that? We rotate it because the center is more hot. See, this one's brown and this one's kind of brown on both sides. You can't fit to rotate like that, so we're going to push over. Gotta release this. And rotate. And we can rotate this one. Hear that crispiness. Okay, so it's getting a little stagnant. They're going to go up slightly in temperature. But we know that this edge is brown already, so we can push it up to the edge because we don't really care about getting more color on the edge of the cheese. That one's done. This one's here. All right. I think we're about finished. Let's just try to get this one a little bit more brown. This one looks fine. These three look fine. Let's take it off and flip. And there we go. Cheese sandwich. Be careful doing the flip. Don't try this at home for the flipping part with your hand under it because that's hot cheese. We'll turn this off. You can flip it at home. Just don't try that part. So take a look at that. So looks good, very hot. We're gonna wait till it cools a little. Otherwise, when you take a bite, the cheese is just gonna blah. So we actually do want to let it cool a little, let it settle down. Then we'll cut into it and take a bite. Until then, keep cleaning while you go. Sandwiches, these are the nice ones. They're cooled decently enough. Should we do a cross or a fat one? We'll do a cross one. Very crispy, very cheesy. And we'll do a vibrating cut. Should have probably just used a straight knife. Right, there we go. Goopy. Let's take a bite. Since I bit it this way, first thing you get is the crispy cheese. Then you get the inside cheese. You met with the texture of the ham. You have this creamy cheese inside. A little bite from the pepper. Truffle is very subtle. I think we need to add more later. Very cheesy, melty. Nice toasted flavor. Very good. Ham has some nice dry texture in there. A little smoky. Then you get the sweetness from the honey. All right, now you know how to make a cheese sandwich. That was very, very easy. If you're trying, you could have did all the prep in maybe 5 minutes. That is with everything tempered and laid out. 5 minutes to do that, assemble sandwiches, cook it. It's like, you could probably make 20 sandwiches in 1 hour at the most. Prep, cook. All right, see you next time. camera lady thought that I made it sound very mediocre because I was simply describing it. It's not mediocre, it's very good, just so you know. And look, I got a straight knife. I can do a nicer cut. There. Look at that cross section. Looks kind of empty, but it tastes good. And eat another half. Bread's a little chewy on the outside. Nice and good like that. Got all this drippy stuff, we're gonna pick that up. That honey, very good. Cheese and honey, one of my favorites. How much would I pay for this sandwich? In Hawaii, if that was available, I'll pay between 14 and 17. It's not a very hefty sandwich, but it's very good. Okay, well,